My bench has become an absolute disaster because of this car, but you know what? I like it. I like that my bench is a mess. So the DR10 has given me trouble only because I'm new to this. And I've got some ideas in my head, but it's trying to get those ideas to go from my head onto the car. I had, these are the front springs. So obviously what's messed up is, for some strange reason, my DR10, I have two separate sets of springs. What I probably should do is I probably should measure what those springs are right there, wherever my caliper is. And that's probably still upstairs. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Where's my caliper? Now this is where the organization just kills me. Where is my caliper? The heck? I didn't think I left it upstairs, but I must have. Because it's definitely not within my eyesight right now. All right, so front shocks compared to back shocks. And it might be kind of weird measuring these springs. But what I'll try to do is I'll try to measure like coil wrap to coil wrap to see where this actual spring is without affecting its tension. So seems as though this spring is like around 55.5 on the height. And this one 56. So those are matched. So those ones are matched, but these ones on the back are the ones that are different. These ones, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I stuffed the shorter springs on the back, which I'm actually going to change out because I feel like now that was a dumb move. Because what it did is, now that I put the shorter springs on the back, it made it so that I had to put more preload shims in. And that's not what I want to do. So for me, I'm like starting over. I'm starting at 0 again. And this is like, I wasn't even going to bother going live on this to show you, but I figured, why not? Like, this is the whole point of this, is like, at least to show you some of the difficulties that I'm having. Now, people were telling me that I should change the shock oil in the back. So in the front, I actually changed it up to a 70. I didn't like how the front of my car was reacting. I kept getting massive amount of body roll and body rub. Now, granted, that's when I'm turning, but what's happening is that you're not supposed to be turning, but you do have to have a certain amount of control in the car. And as soon as there would be any kind of correction, the body would dive so bad that it would cause me, I think, to lose control. So at least if I, thickened up that shock oil in the front, which is what I did, to a 70 weight, at least maybe now I can gain, at least in my mind, a little bit of front control. It's all the stuff that I'm seeing and hearing in my head. My brain is talking to me and telling me, guy, try this, try that. And I don't know, man. So it's zeroed out. I just want to check these. I want to check these front springs. So it basically like 55, 56 millimeters on that front. That half a millimeter is not going to matter, nothing. And then my other springs, and this is without any tension, it's 50. So these ones are 52.84. Now, again, not that it matters, but it kind of does when you're trying to get specific. So 52, almost 53. And then try to get it, like I said, right on that flat, almost no tension. Right there. So crazy. Check that out. So literally these two front springs are exactly the same. So I've got 52 like 87, and I think the other one was also like 52.87, which how is that possible? How did they get it that right? All right, so maybe it's close enough though. So 52. So let's say these fronts are 53. I think they're supposed to be 54. These back ones are 56. And I guess not that it really makes a difference, but man. So my thought is, right, and this is what I'm thinking, and I'm probably totally off and totally wrong. But what I feel like I want to do, these shocks right now with the 70 weight oil. So hopefully once I get this car to lift, the intent was like with Earl's watermelon car that he has, was to be able to let the front wheels like unload back down to the pavement once we lift up. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's trial and error for me. And like I said, we're going to be doing more error than, no, we're going to be doing more trial. No, we're going to be doing more error. More error than trial. I don't know. We're all trying it, but. So my thought was, and this is probably dumb. I want to get the front of the car all the way down, but I want to maximize the shock's travel. Meaning, am I thinking this right? And like I said, this is where if you don't go, this is all the stuff like what happens in my head when I'm just working on stuff. You know what I mean? So this is no instructional video. This is literally just, all right, this is what's in my head. I want to try this. Is this actually going to work? So I feel like I almost want to put on a shorter spring. And I know this probably sounds nuts, but I want to try a shorter spring. I actually wanted to throw these shocks on. These shocks are from my Hibao, one of my Hibao buggies, but I'm not going to go that route yet. But I want to see, like, what happens if I take this spring, which it is the same 12 millimeter style spring, but it's definitely way shorter. Okay. So my thought was, if I throw this shorter spring on here, I don't know what my head is thinking. I'm just thinking stuff. So this is my thought, and I know this is probably like 100% wrong. But with the weight of the car, okay, with the weight of the car, the shock will get compressed. And as the car lifts, that whole coil and everything will slide down, I hope, with the wheels. And then when it goes to sit back down, the fluid should take up that impact. And then once it gets to the point of maybe requiring a little steering, that's when that, I guess, compression of the spring might come into play. You see what I'm saying? Like it's I see it in my head. My mind is saying this is something to try. You know what I mean? So I feel like I want to try it. You know what I mean? Why not? I'm going to try it. I'm actually going to use these springs. And I'm going to see if this works. Oh my God. Welcome to RC Guy Garage Morning Hack Prep. That's what it is. This is hack prep. Earl, what's going on, guy? You're saying I'm right on point. Yeah, I'm right on point, not with probably what I just told you. What I just told you, you're probably scratching your head going, what the hell are you doing? And this is, like I said, this is that difference between East Coast versus West Coast. And I want to say East Coast redneck RC Guy Garage style, where I'm just literally I'm just thinking in my head, and I really hope it's something that is possible. I saw what Earl's watermelon did, and I totally see it. Like I totally see, like, okay, now can I do it this way? Now Earl just put out a video this morning about working obviously on the DR10, and he was talking about obviously, you know, he was zeroing out the car and getting it to, you know, perform the way he wants it to perform, and now he's got it going straight. And I think for right now, I'm not even going straight yet. I mean, I am. I've learned with this car the oddity to, if I had the spring packs, or yeah, I almost want to call it a spring pack. The shim packs, the way I had it set up originally, it actually got it to launch straight with a slight amount of slip. And then I wanted to take all the slip out because I wanted to see, for my own mind, I wanted to see, can these tires hook up? What can they do? How soft are they? How grippy are they? And I feel like they're almost not grippy enough. Now I'm going to measure these shocks just for documentation kind of thing. Zero this out. That way, at least to get an idea, like, who knows, maybe if this works, if this idea works, you know what I mean? So right when it contacts, so these springs are a 44. I know I didn't measure the other one, but good enough. So these are a 44. So I'm hoping putting this in here and then putting that, do I get the right shock cap going on? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Okay. I got two sets of shocks going on here, so this is my thought. You know what I mean? Get the travel in the front end so that hopefully if I ever get this thing to hook up and lift the wheels, that at least the wheel will be able to come down, but when it's waiting to go, it could possibly be at its lowest point. It's just, I don't know. And I'm going to check the chat real quick just to say hello to everybody, because this actually is not COVID and coffee. This is just morning prep before. And I just figured I'd show you guys like what my thoughts were and what I'm trying to accomplish. Again, this could be a total waste of time, but try to get it from my point. I don't feel like I am wasting my time, because technically I'm not. I'm teaching myself. I'm like, can this possible idea based upon what I saw, can this way work? And I know I said I'm throwing parts into this DR, and I am. I actually have parts coming. And those parts are literally a direct thanks to, obviously, the people that, gave to that product. So I'm trying to, I've got like the whole list and everything. So I'm going to be like that transparent. I'm going to say, okay, well, this is where this went to. So you don't think I'm like taking the money and putting it in my pocket, because I'm not. I'm literally putting it right into this car. So, you know what I mean? You can't do that. Like, I still have to go to Harbor Freight. Justin O'Neill I guess felt bad for me and bought me a Harbor Freight heat gun. He gave me the exact amount that I needed to get the heat gun. But what I'm going to do, and I hope you don't get bent out of shape, I actually want to like match that money and maybe get the better heat gun this time. Not the $4 special. Be getting beyond the $4 special. It'll actually help me out. So this is tune time with RC Car Garage. Oh my God. I'm laughing at myself, but I'm smiling too, though. And I know I'm like just blabbing here, but it's a blast. I bet you've been enjoying. Oh, Chef is here. All right, I just got to quickly say hello to everybody. So we got Asterion. Earl Moorhead is here. I know, early this morning. Riff to the Raff. Again, this is not a COVID and coffee. Chef Beardsley. Bandit Darnville, what's going on? Gus's Custom Creations, you are up early. Holy smokes. Chuck G is here. Earl says I'm right on point, but he probably thinks I'm not right on point now. You would stretch the springs out to fill the shock body with no shims. Okay. Not as much. Barbecue, good morning. Make all the springs the same. And trust me, I'm not listening, so please don't think I'm not listening. I am. It's just, if I don't try what's in my head, I'm going to lose my mind. RC Master, what's going on, brother? Big Muscle RC, what's here? What's going on? Justin O'Neill, what's happening, man? I don't know. I just feel like somehow this is really going to work. Probably won't, but yeah. So you guys are saying stretch the springs. Oh, right, stretching the springs. Yeah, I just want to try it like this first, just to see what happens. Again, I'm probably wrong, but I won't be able to sleep tonight. I won't be able to sleep. Oh my God. All right. Make sure I did mark these, but it's almost like it's not mattering right now, because the shocks are all the same, but they still are now marked. So I'm making sure that I put them back in their original locations, which that's to that. Why do I have so many screws on this table here? What are these screws? Oh, these screws are for the A-arms. Yeah. So those screws are for the arms. This is the driver's side, so I want to make sure I put that back on. And I know there really is no driver's side for an RC car, but I Yeah, it's just how I do it. So now on this, I'm going to put it towards the inboard hole, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be able to just get the car to be able to have its front wheels drop. And again, I only pulled a real wheelie once, and that was on a return trip, but that was from coasting. So I had just done a hit, and on my way back when I was slowly coasting, I goosed it. And when I goosed it, the stinking thing did a 4 to 6 foot wheelie right in front of me. And of course the camera wasn't on because I was done filming. And I was just like, all right, what the hell is this thing doing? Because you can't, at least for me, I can't film everything, because you end up not, at least for me, and this is the way I am, I end up not paying attention to the car. I end up trying to pay attention to the filming process, because I'm trying to make sure it's in frame and all this other stuff, and sometimes you have to walk away from that. So what I did is I shut the cameras off and I just said, screw it. And I just started, literally, I didn't even know how many passes that I made, but I started getting the throttle pressure down pretty good. One thing that I do wish that I had, which Earl's Watermelon has what's called a two-step. And a two-step, obviously, what it does is it gives you a limited amount of throttle. You're boning the gas pedal, right? It's giving you a limited amount of throttle, and then when you let off, because you're building boost or whatever, when you let off, you go, and then bam, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm trying to get my head to communicate with the car. And I'm trying to tell the car to communicate with my head, which hopefully will go to my hands. I don't know. Just don't watch my channel. Yeah. If you want to watch all the wrong things to do, follow along as I destroy how they intended this RC car to be. So that front end is mega dropped right now. So obviously I'll be adding shims. So I can shim that spring because now we're underweight. So I can shim the spring, obviously, to bring it down to create that lift that I need so that the body doesn't, so the body and the front of the car doesn't slam onto the pavement. I got this screw here. Make sure you shut off your caliper and put it away when you're done. That way it doesn't get wrecked. So I'm going to put Gone Forever. Oh, come on. Way to go. I think I need to get some kind of mat so that I don't lose my screws, because obviously like the little vector guys here, when they're awake, they come over and they mess with me and push stuff around, which is fine. You know what I mean? I could corral them off or shut them off, but I let them kind of I guess, live their lives. And now, tighten this up. Be very careful with the plastics on this thing. Earl touched on it as well, that especially with the helicoil style threads that I'm finding on mine, I don't know if he came across those thread pieces, but I know he came across metal filings underneath his transmission, which, granted, it wasn't, probably in his transmission, but still, you don't want metal filings. But just be careful with the screws. Now, see that? Now, that's what I'm thinking, right? See how that worked? I might have to I might have to put a little bit of The shock oil might need to be increased, or maybe I'll have to put a shim in there, but you know what I mean? Because obviously the weight of the vehicle is huge. And that's the other thing that I tried to touch on was the battery pack, not knowing if my battery pack is maybe causing an issue because it's not, I don't know, it's not like, not normal. So I'll make sure that I use the longer springs now in the back, which is what, only 5 millimeters or something like that. What I have, 56, 52. So it's only a difference of 4. So I'll put these ones in the back now. I'm leaving the back alone as far as the shock oil, which this is probably wrong too. I probably do need to stiffen up this rear, but I want to see, like, did what I did to the front, is that actually going to help? So we'll toss that on there. And I also, for some reason, I have no idea how this happened. What the hell's going on now? There's air in my rear shock. Man, is that matched? These were matched. Yeah, it seems like it's the same. What I did is I filled, obviously, the fluid level up to the same in each side. There is a little bit of air in there, just for, again, in my mind, just for compression. Throw this on. And then, what screws were there? I think they're these ones right here. So, and then on the back, I'm just going to put it in the original hole, which was the outboard hole. So the outboard hole is where it was originally. One of those ball driver Allen wrenches, I think for these kind of situations, would probably work pretty good. Man, I feel like it's almost like it's getting to the point of stripping out already. What was that? Look at that. That's got so much. Hopefully I put the right springs on, right? Did I put the right springs on? These look shorter. All right. All right. I love that. All right, so I do have to re-raise, obviously, the rear end. So these larger shims are what was in here originally, and these shims suck. Pardon my language, but they do. I really don't like these shims. Trying to get them on, it's like, especially with body on, forget it. And these shims, all four of those shims are all the same. All right. Now, Kevin Marino actually told me to actually get this, he used a different word, but to get the butt end of this thing up there. So I'm going to throw on that extra set of the thicker shims just so I can raise this rear end. And then I'll bring a pocket full of shims outside with me just for my own, like, kind of peace of mind. So I can adjust things, like, I guess, as I go. I just really wish that these were threaded shocks. I feel like this is dumb. I hate shims. I never liked using the zip ties. Zippy ties. So right now that front end is sitting on the ground, right? It's literally like sitting on the ground. So probably as soon as I put the body on, it's going to be on the ground. So that's where maybe a couple of these damn shims will come into play. So I'll get these ones. Again, this might not even work. This might not work. This might be a complete waste of time, but I don't know. I don't think it is, because I guess I'm teaching myself here. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll just watch Earl's videos and then finally get it. That's better. So that's better. We've got about, so on this front right now, the chassis is damn close to being straight. Now, obviously, because I've lowered the vehicle, and that's where it's going to start from, because I'm assuming, like, right here is probably going to be resting. So I might get, I actually might get a little bit of grinding on this front end with that. That actually won't be cool. So the shocks obviously still flop down. So maybe if I put just another, shim here. So that's a thicker one. Thick one. So these look like these are the next set of shims. And I'll put that in here. Maybe I should just use a zippy tie. If I put a zippy tie in there, that will save me on using these shims. Because obviously the zippy tie will be the same. The zippy tie will be the same thickness, like a thicker shim. That's better. I'll still get front grindage. And it looks like I almost have to adjust. I have to adjust the toe because right now it is way off. I just got to toss the body on because I'm pretty much weighted how this thing goes out, and obviously throwing the body on is going to add like a little bit more to it, but I don't even know where the car sits. So right now, this is where the car sits. What's that, a damn piece of paper? Oh my God. I'm going to end up grinding that whole bumper. So what I could do on that is raise up the body like maybe one like pin mount. You know what I mean? Because that's literally right there. That's bumper touching. And I still had like a 1/4 inch to go. So that was some bumper scrapage. But if I raise these body pins, if I just get these pins up just a little bit, which was my screwdriver. What are these body pins? Body pins look like they're the same size. Yeah. So I'm going to raise the body pin up a notch just to get the body off of the ground and allow the suspension to compress, maybe? I need to limit the shock, like from bottoming out. So I take my awl. My awl locates the hole for me. So I raise it up and I stick it in. And as I raise it up, is that in already? I think that's having a hard time seeing here. All right, let's see. Wow, these are actually these holes are at an angle. I didn't know that. So these holes are actually at an angle. That's kind of funky. All right, so now it's raised up one whole notch. Put that near. I don't know if anybody's saying anything to me. Sorry, I haven't watched the Vector has new features now. Digital Dream Labs has released them. Are you getting any of their Vector services? I'm not signed in for Digital Dream Labs, so I don't know if anything's going on concerning that. I'm kind of being a little odd about it. I kind of want Vector to just kind of stay the way he is, but obviously if he loses functionality because of how they're handling things, I may be forced into doing something about that. So now you've got that one raised up. Now, see the wheelie bar hitting. My wheels are still seems like it. So wheelie bar hitting, provided if I ever hit the wheelie bar with this thing. This is what I'm thinking. That seems all right. The shock oil might need to, well, you know, I don't know. We'll just try it. Obviously, I'll get, eventually I'll get spring rub, but that's if this thing ever leaves the ground. And I have my wheelie bar right now set at the middle position. I feel really heavy in the front end here, like excessively heavy. My battery pack does not slide into that notch back there. So I'm also wondering if I should get, like I said before, if I should get a purposeful pack. But right now I've got a massive amount of toe out. I want to zero out the steering real quick just to see where I am. So I'm gonna plug that in. Crank this on. Turn this on. So now I need like that little wrench. You just want to turn this turnbuckle. Ooh, boy, that thing's tight. So if I turn it this way, I think I'm supposed to go the other way though. Yeah. Supposed to go that way. That's way down. I'm guessing I did like 2 full turns. I really didn't pay attention, but pretty good. And that one looks like I've got. Let's see. I've got too much camber, especially on that side. And it's not leaning. It's literally that side is that much more. See that? So I'm going to pull some of that out. Because when you look at this side, I don't feel like that side's the same amount. That side's that side's way more. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit, see what happens. So I want to adjust it out. Which is going this way, right? My mind is not functioning. Now it's like way off. I went too far. It definitely looks like it's tipped out now. Not tipped out, but you know what I mean. This one, I don't have to adjust as much. So I actually want to adjust this just a little bit more out. Because what I did is I adjusted it without any load on it, which changed the way it's going. So I want to, no, this way, right? So I just did 2 half turns, 1, 2 half turns there. Let's see where we are. That's more like it. I think that's more like it. You know what else is funky too? I wonder what would happen if I flopped. Nah, you can't. I was just thinking in my head, what would happen if I flopped the steering links to the underneath? If I flopped it to the underneath, it would give it almost like a more of a straighter shot instead of being like up top. Do you know what I mean? Like if I took these ball ends, if I took the ball ends out of here, which it doesn't look like I can do because of the way it's designed. If I took these ball ends and stuck them underneath, would that limit? It doesn't look like it touches. So it doesn't, when you turn, well, actually, if you were to get like a full lock turn, but I don't really need a full lock turn on this thing. This is not a buggy. We're not going really for steering. We're trying to go straight. So if I could flip those ball ends somehow, but it's like it won't be long enough. The screws won't be long enough. Then when it compresses, it won't get that weirdness of how. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if I'm able to put those ball ends more on the center line of the wheel, if I could reverse these, I feel like that would then make the link more straight. It doesn't get in the way from, I mean, it would contact on full lock, but yeah, I don't know. Changing too much stuff. My head's thinking too much. So I think this is probably where I just want to, I guess, be right now. I'm going to top off this battery. I'm going to do a couple rips on this thing, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So that is my Team Associated DR10 update. Just seeing what's possible. I'm probably screwing around with too many things, but I think I might be on track right now. I think I might be on track at least with the front suspension. If I do get the chassis slamming on the bottom, which probably might be a good idea to throw like a piece of duct tape on there just to protect it. Oh, you know what though? That's just a bumper piece. So if that hits, no big deal. Maybe I could put like a strip of titanium on there. put a strip of titanium on there, you get some nice sparks when that front end finally collapses down. Kind of give it that realism, you know, like an out of control Mustang. When it just does a wheelie, comes up on its tail end, and then comes and slams down, and then there's like this sparks everywhere. So maybe we could do that. Get a little bar of titanium and get some sparks going on. So anyways, this is just a before COVID and coffee morning prep of the DR10. I'm just going to jump into the chat real quick just so I'm not being ignorant and say hello to everybody. And if you're interested in seeing like what the results were, obviously you'll have to see the video, but I'll talk about potentially like what happened. So I guess I'm not sure exactly what time the COVID and coffee will be. Like maybe 10, 9:30, 10, somewhere in there. Got to give myself at least a little bit of time. Right now it's 8:36 my time. So I'm going to go out there. I got to check the battery, see how the battery's looking. So battery's just going to take a little bit to charge. But I do want to jump into the chat, like I said, just to say hello. Because this wasn't a COVID and coffee, you know, kind of deal. So I really wasn't paying attention to the chat. I was just showing you guys what thoughts were kind of, I guess, in my head with this DR10 and seeing if I could make something happen. So there's no red boxes. Oh, wait a minute. Get the Bubble app. Get the Bubble app to set my camber. Is that what it's called? Bubble app? But yours is iPhone, though. I wonder if it's even something that's potentially available. All right. So go into my app store. Is this called the Bubble app? B-U-B-B-L-E. Bubble app. Better not be like Bubble Pop. Bubble Pop is probably what's going to show up on, on my phone. Yeah, it does! There is a thing on here, it's called Bubble Level. Are you talking about that thing right there, Bubble Level? It's gonna install a virus. It has ads in it. It's gonna install a virus into my phone. Nice. I'm thinking is that the one that you're talking about? Bubble Level? No, it's not ready to race. It's ready to run. It'll run out of the box on 2S. I'm putting 3S into it, and I'm going from somebody that knows nothing. So that's a difference too. Justin O'Neill, thank you for that. Bubble apps for all phones. James George. Who, me? Keep it up and I'll eventually get it? Yeah. Maybe if I listen to somebody else that's in the chat. Maybe if I listen to that person, I could get it the first time. But I just want to see, like, will this thought work? It probably won't. I'll somehow, Earl used the fuel tubing to limit his, you used it to limit your stance, right? So that it didn't go any further down. So if I do that same thing, and if potentially this works, and I want to stop the impact, because I lowered my shocks all the way to the bottom hole on the shock tower, and then I went all the way to the inner holes, which again gives it more travel. So right now, under its stock configuration, my front shocks have the most travel that they can possibly have, and it feels like it works. So if I get that fuel tubing and cut it like Earl did, and I put it on the outside of the shock shaft, it'll limit the travel. So it's effectively, it's what's called a bump stop. So in automotive terms, there's what's called it's called a bump stop. So that when it's, so your suspension doesn't over compress, at least has something, instead of slamming into frame and metal, it has a bump that's usually flexible, like an elastomer type of material, that stops your suspension components from slamming into, your vehicle, like in the rear end of Big Black. You know what I mean? It's got a bump stop. So if I put the fuel tubing on the outside of the shock shaft, it will stop it from the chassis from slamming. So it'll limit that suspension, give it a hard limit. Well, not a hard limit. It'll give it a cushioned limit. You know what I mean? Like better than what's here right now. So, Mr. Aliande, what is happening, brother? Fuel tubing is the right approach and is basically free into... Right. Yeah, I've got a ton of fuel. I do have a ton of fuel tubing. I think it's actually right here. Yeah, I've got just a little bit of fuel tubing. This will actually probably work really well right here. So just like an elastomer, you know what I mean? Give it a bump stop. That'll probably fit the shock shaft perfect. I do have a softer fuel tubing too. I actually do have fuel tubing that's for, yeah, right here. So I've got literally packages and packages of fuel tubing. Well, that's not fuel tubing, but that one I just showed you probably would be the one that I use. I'm not going to use it right now because I just want to see what happens. If I do get too much, slamming down in the front, which my car's not going to hook up anyway. I think my next exploration, until my parts arrive, because I have camber blocks. Camber? Yes. No. Toe blocks? I'm changing the rear end geometry of this car because, well, Associated, I guess, this is the way they say it should be. For me, no. No, I want my axle straight. I want my rear axle as straight as it can be. I want to adjust my rear, well, you'll see what's happening. I have some stuff coming that hopefully is gonna fix my issues that I'm having with this thing. And still, they're very minor. I'm honestly being anal about this. Don't know if everybody knows what the word anal means. It doesn't mean what you think it means initially when you say it, but I'm being too, I feel like I'm being a little too picky, but I don't like the fact that my rear wheels are towed in. I don't like it. They're towed towards the center of the chassis, and for me, I just feel like that's wrong. You want to have a straight axle in the back. But I think it's just because of obviously the use of components. But it's like, okay, if these arms are shorter arms, which I don't know, I'm assuming these arms might be shorter than something else. Did they just take drag tires and a wheel bar and make it a drag car by just tossing on some tires and wheels? Is that what they did? And obviously made a nice body for it? I have no idea. All right, I gotta check that battery. We still got more time on that battery. So maybe I can like check in with chat. What's going on, guys? Amped RC, what's going on, guy? Build it, break it, fix it. What is happening? I believe the rear toe is causing the pulling left and right. Yeah. So exactly, Earl. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I bought those the little replaceable blocks. To hopefully watch it be wrong. Watch it not do what I want it to do. Watch it because it's designed for dirt that I can't zero out the rear end on toe. I have no idea. The prices weren't bad. It was $7 for the rear, and then I think it was $7 to rear, $14 for the little blocks, and then $9 for the front piece because Trash Ninja's like, oh no. It's the front that has all the pieces, I think. Yeah, don't even listen to me. I have no idea. I don't know what I bought. I bought adjustable blocks. I'm just I don't know. I'm hoping. But see, look at like right here. Do you guys get it? Look at the smile. Like, look at the smile on my face, man. I'm fighting it, but I'm also loving it. So I've never done this before. And the entertainment for maybe you guys laughing at me, going, Guy, what are you doing? You don't even know what you're doing. It's just like, yeah, I know you're right. I don't, but I'm still gonna try it. I'm gonna just like, I don't know, what's that phrase that I use? If it doesn't work, just force it. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna force this damn thing to do what my head is saying. And like it also gives you like a good sense of just, like, I don't know, like seeing Earl in the fuel tubing to limit the shock travel so it doesn't slam onto the ground. Because now he's got his damn I should check that. That's what I should check. But he's got it. Have you guys seen the post that he posted on YouTube? You know how they do this, we can do the pictures? His DR10 is slammed. I mean, that thing can't get any lower. And here's the other issue, too, that I just thought of. Damn it, I just thought of this. Now that I changed the camber in the front, my body's going to get destroyed now. Yeah, it's going to get destroyed now. Because if I was already getting rubbing, look at on this side. Look how much rub I've got. You can almost see right through it. Well, you can see through it. And then right there, same thing. So now that I adjusted that, now I'm gonna destroy the body. See, it's all the things you just gotta think. And I'm not thinking. I still have to raise the body up. I'm glad I checked that. So I guess I'm not done. I still gotta raise these mounts up. I think I'm like at almost like the last hole now. Yeah, you don't need to look at me. You don't need to look at me. Oh my god. The Mass Master, you're funny. Just remember, guys, try to keep the chat like appropriate. Like you know, some people don't, because I'm obviously not watching the chat, and obviously comments are being held for review just because of the way YouTube is. So don't kill my channel. Don't kill my channel, please, because I'm not really watching comments. So I'm just gonna raise this up just to see if it changes. But see, what I do is I just use this little awl. It just helps with guiding the body mounts. Now let's check it out. Boy, good thing I checked. All right, so now what I'm getting, so now I'm not getting the body slamming, so see? So now that's going to work out, but now I'm almost not liking where my front wheel is sitting. Look how tucked. Why is that wheel that much tucked back? But there's what I've got now. And at least when it comes down and finally hits the body, well, you know what? Maybe I could. Nah, I'll leave it like that. Just see what happens. Now I gotta check the let's see, what is this looking like? Because now that I slammed it down, because of the stupid angle of the chassis, because this is that, you know, tipped up chassis where the suspension hits, now because I'm now compressed, the wheels are like tucked into the back of the car. Now if I raise up the front end, which hopefully I can actually get this thing to kick up a little bit. So I feel like that works right there. Maybe it wants to be a little bit faster, but I think we're there. I don't know, maybe it almost wants to be a little faster. But that seems like that's about right. But now when it's sitting like that, now I'm wondering, what's it going to do when I steer it? Because now I have no battery in it for weight. The battery, I'm just going to stop the battery. I think it's good enough. It's almost fully charged. I just want to toss it in just for weight real quick. Plug it in. I'll just do one strap just to kind of lock it down so I can move it. What I don't want to do is I don't want to destroy this body because I actually really like this body. I think it's really cool. It's my only Mopar that I have. It's the only Mopar I've ever had. So I'll turn it on. So now I'm getting big time rub. I'm getting massive amounts of rub now. Ah! Damn it. So now I've got massive amounts of rub. Damn you! That's no good. Now I'm going to end up destroying the body on the inside. Look at that rub. Look at like what it's doing. Oh. And that's the wrong way too to rub because the car is obviously going to be traveling forward, so the wheel is rolling this way. So when it contacts the body, it has the tendency to possibly now even slice my tires. Ha ha ha! The limitations. See what happens when you want to mess with it from factory. And I don't want to cut the wheel wells because the wheel wells are where they should be. I guess I'll be taping the inside. Now I'm adding more weight. Damn it, why did they do it like that? Come on! You can raise the front body mounts too. It's right, it's going to eat the paint off the body, exactly. Hopefully the road's clean. The matte black hood bonnet. Yeah, it does look really cool. You don't need to... Well, you need to turn it. Well, guy, what do you mean you don't need to turn it? This thing needs to be able to turn. Because obviously, how am I going to come back? When I come back, I got to turn at the end of the drag strip of the RC Guy Garage Dragway. Way. Oh, my God. Straight wheels is right. Straight wheels is all you need, but not on the turn, on the return trip. On the return trip, I'm going to eat body. You guys are killing me. Oh my God, that's a dumb design. Oh my God. Am I going to like literally take my hacksaw and hacksaw the front end of this thing off and then 3D print a flat piece so that my wheels don't jack up into the back of the car? I don't know, man. I'm still having a blast, but now I don't like the fact that I'm going to be destroying my body. And that And obviously something's off, like center line wise, because the tire definitely wants to already almost contact. It could be my trim. My trim is probably off. Yeah, it looks like I'm turned. It looks like I'm going right. So, because I adjusted, obviously, the front suspension. Maybe not. Alright. Well, I already know that contacts, so I throw this back on the charger just to, like I said, just to kind of like top it off. Make sure I'm at least giving the car like a good battery. I think I'm going to tape up. I'm going to tape up the body just in case. I feel like maybe right now that will probably be the best thing to do. I do have actually some better tape than this. But this is just that aluminum tape. This is what I tape my bodies with. Seems to work really well. Granted, what's going to kind of stink is obviously, you know, rubbing through the body right now. I don't have any paint, so I'm just going to toss some of this stuff on there. See what happens. At least the tires will just rub onto this and not mangle the body. So I do it like that. That'll probably work. The stuff is very sticky too. Get off. Here I am saying it's very sticky. It is sticky. I just got to give the bottom a little bit of a roll. Like right about there. And what's nice about this aluminum tape is it really forms to whatever you're putting it on, and it does give it a very, it gives it a little bit of rigidity. And then when you're done, you just take a knife and just very carefully just slice right around that edge, right there. I did have razor blades here. I got a razor blade kit somewhere here. There we go. A little razor blade kit. I also have a tendency to not shut this remote off because I feel like for me, for some reason, like the switch is backwards from what I'm used to. As it is right now, it's almost like COVID and coffee now. It doesn't even look like I'm going to get out there. Maybe this should be COVID and coffee. See how it works like that? And then I'll put a little piece in there to protect that section, which is basically just the rest of the cutoff. I'll take it and I'll cut it just like that. See how I just basically just extended the piece, and then all I have to do is just razor slice that piece off. And then that's good. So now I'll do the same thing to the other side. So I'll do the same thing, just cut right there. Going forever. Right at the O. Helps if you try to flatten out the wrinkles before you throw it on. This tape has been around for a while, so I just flatten out the wrinkles. And now I'll just apply it. Come on. I think the battery's done. Battery's just about topped off. And then obviously on that bottom we did have a little bit of a curve. So I'll pre-curve it. And just work your way, obviously down from where you first stick it. And just work your way up. Just follow those body lines. Sometimes you can use like your fingernail. Then I'll just take that razor blade and just carefully slice. Without slicing the body. Probably come this way. because you technically are using the body as the guide for the knife. The aluminum tape wants to cut better than the body does. Do you know what I mean? So then I can take that other half and I'll measure it up so that it covers. So I think right at the T, I'll just cut it straight across the T like this. And then kind of smooth it on. And I can apply that right like that. And then just cut off the excess. I have no idea who's calling me. I do not answer calls that I do not recognize. Here we go. So at least now maybe the body's protected. I also have noticed that I'm getting inner body rub as well. On the it's almost like it's the sail panel. So on the car, right? On these old cars, this is what's called the sail panel. So you've got obviously the quarter panel, you've got the top of the quarter panel where it meets the sail panel. Well, on mine, almost right where it's starting to, it's basically the top of the quarter where it meets the sail panel is where on the inside from ripping it, I'm starting to get, see right there? I'm starting to get rub through. So I'm going to put some tape on those areas now too, so that so I don't get body rub through on that. And I'm just going to on the paper towel just to prep the area. Just to get all the rubber off from doing burnouts. Prep the area, make sure it's nice and clean with your spit. See? See all that garbage that's on there? And I'm going to cut 2 more pieces of tape. And I'm going to wrap this so it actually goes onto that wheel well. It probably doesn't matter, but I'll just wrap it just a little bit. And then it'll come down to the sail panel. So I'll just cut this literally in half. And this is also why you can't have Vector out, because he's going to try and drive this body around while I'm trying to apply the protection here. Let's go back on your charger. Leave me alone. Look at it. He listened, kinda. Get back on your charger. Leave me alone. See, I'm telling you to make sure you flatten it out, and I didn't even flatten it out. So now it's flattened out. I'm going to give it a little bit of a curve. Like give it a little bit of a fold because that's where the body is. And that's kind of where I want to start this tape, right at that section. Peel it off. So at least I've got kind of like some place to start, right at that corner of the body. And then just place it in. I'm placing it into the middle of the area that I noticed was rubbing. So, just gonna flatten it. Just get my fingernail right in there and try to form it to fit. That one didn't work as good, but you can still flatten it down because it's the aluminum tape. Just use the back side of your fingernail to form it. And now at least that section will be protected. I'm going to take the other half. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flatten it out on that other piece that I had. Tough part is getting this stuff to peel. So do the same thing. Just want to flatten it out. Just give it like a ridge so I know where to start, at least on the body. Then I can peel it off. And then we'll place it into position here. And at least now it's going to have protection from those rear wheels. When they expand or whatever the heck is going on, whether if it's suspension compression or I really don't know why I'm getting rub on the back other than maybe for the fact that I was like crashing off-road with it. Effectively like what I guess you'd call it hitting the wall. So battery's all set. Now we can go outside. I'm going to give it a couple of runs. So hopefully you enjoyed this. This morning with RC Guy Garage. This was before COVID and coffee. Looks like COVID and coffee is going to be like 10:30 now. So I'm not even going to do a thing. At least I don't think I will. But I'll do a COVID and coffee and we can report the findings. So anyways, if you like watching this episode from RC Guy Garage, this was before COVID and coffee. Working on the DR10. Just trying to see like if my ideas that are in my head, my Franken 10. I don't know what I'm going to call this thing. It's my Franken car. Now, the stupidness of what I'm trying, I just have to try it. It's not anything that I've seen anybody try yet. It looks like it'll work. I just don't know. Thanks. Thanks for not like hammering me that bad and just going, dude, you're an idiot. What are you doing? I have to try it. Who knows? Maybe this could be the East Coast setup. I have no idea. I just don't know. Callie definitely has it over me on West Coast there. Mr. West Coast obviously has it over on me. He knows what he's been there. He's done that. He's tuned like 100,000 vehicles, so I'm out. And what do I always say? The whole point is just get out there and rip it because that's what you should do. Just get out there. Get out there and rip it, man. I'm out of here. We'll see you later. Thank you for coming.